One of the things I wanted to tackle was the military industrial complex. Now, you know that I'm heavily involved with the investment side of the business world, and I write about these topics quite a bit. But you
Yeah.
probably keep tab of the news. I mean, how can you not, right? So a couple months ago, earlier this year, there was big news item. I was abroad actually in Eastern Europe. That's if I go east, I go to Eastern Europe. Okay, so just to keep that in mind. But while I was there, this is January, February of 2019. There was big news item: $21 trillion of debt. When you compare the United States to every other country, we're the number one most indebted nation, which is just mind-boggling. Also
Hey, at
mind-boggling.
least we're number one at something.
Yeah, $21 trillion, right? It was a big news item. And when you have $21 trillion in debt, the interest on that is just accelerates exponentially. So literally a couple of months later, the debt is now well over 22 trillion. So we just added, it hasn't even been a year. It's maybe been a quarter, and we've added
Mhm.
$1 trillion of debt nominally to the national debt, now at 22 trillion, and pretty soon it'll be 23 and 24 and 25 and so on and so forth. I think, well, I really have no idea. I'm not even uh, gonna um, wonder how they're gonna fix all this stuff. That's just well above my pay grade. But seems like seems like one of the easiest fixes is to cut down on, let's just call it, bullshit spending, right? And the
Yeah.
military industrial complex is just bullshit spending. And yes, I'm conservative, but here's my take, and I like to hear what you have to say. We can have a strong military, or we can have a country. One or the other. We can't just be spending, hundreds of billions of dollars on the military, plus God knows how much on the Pentagon's black budget, and just keep, and it's not just the military industrial complex isn't just the federal, the military branches of the federal government. It's also the private military contractors, or PMCs for short. The
Mhm.
PMCs, I mean, this is just a whole industry of imposing pain and misery on other countries, and they're just raking in billions and billions. Collectively, I'm sure we're talking well into the trillions every single year.
Mhm.
uh, Morally, the shit's got to stop. Financially, fiscally, that shit's got to stop. My
Mhm.
argument is we can have this almost extravagantly strong military, or we can have a country. You pick. I would
Mhm.
rather have the country. That's my take. But I just want to hear what you have to say on
No,
that.
yeah, absolutely. And for anyone viewing this, by no means am I a professional. I'm a 26-year-old opinionated, you know, white collar, blue collar worker, whatever you want to call me.
Yeah.
Yeah, depending, well, Josh knows my industry, whatever you want to call it. Um, so yeah, yes, despite my difference in political ideologies, I'm actually going to agree with you on that. I really would like to have a country um, where I get the necessary things in life out of it. I mean, already we don't even rank top 10 in terms of education or anything like that. For us to continually funnel unnecessary money into something that is already the biggest military in the world right now, we're not losing our superpower in terms of strength or anything like that. We're just funneling money where need be, where it's more necessary. And I think that is definitely going to be into the country itself. Our defenses are great. God forbid if there's any sort of nuclear threat, we have our own set of nukes, things like that. Um, there is no disadvantage for our military. We far outrank just about anywhere else. Um, but no, for a general consensus here in terms of surveys that I've read, even in terms of just satisfaction in life,
Yeah.
we don't rank top 10 in the world. We're far, far, far below, I think, even the 50s. We're down near the bottom there, just in terms of satisfaction with life, what we get out of it. So yeah, I think first and foremost it would be putting the money that we're spending back into the country, working on getting more jobs for people, and yeah, just improving education and small things for the start, and then working our way up from there. But pipe dreams, right?
Yeah, honestly, everything that you said, completely valid. I think any rational person would agree with you. Here's the problem. Okay, and I'm not trying to disagree with you, but here is
Yeah.
the problem that makes this a pipe dream is that the military-industrial complex, and it's something that President Eisenhower warned the American people about way back decades ago. And he would know. Eisenhower would know war because he's not like one of those paper pushing generals. I mean, he was actually in the shit. So I have mad respect. I think everybody should have mad respect for that. But he warned about the military-industrial complex and how its tentacles would just impose itself everywhere if it's not kept in check. We've already, in my opinion, we've already gone well past that point to now the military-industrial complex is a religion. I think it's the biggest religion in the United States right now, bigger than Christianity.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm talking about evangelicals.
Watch yourself, John.
And Catholics all together. I mean, military-industrial complex is the that thing on our currency, in God we trust. I mean, in the military we trust, because you can't go anywhere, you can't do anything nowadays without either serving in the military or getting on your knees and doing what.
Fair.
Right? Here's the thing. This is what I don't like about. One of your favorite folks is Sean Hannity, right? From Fox News. He always likes he always likes to tell people whenever there's a disagreement with the liberal side, he says, just remember that the military gave you that right to protest. The implication, of course, is that because there's people serving the country, that you should never protest the status quo, right? And I'm like thinking, wait a minute. This is, and correct me if I'm wrong, but people, the conservatives, especially Fox News conservatives, they've created this framework where service members are fighting for the flag, and I'm like, I don't know. I would say that service members are fighting for freedom, and freedom means the freedom to make choices or to say things that are not necessarily popular. Otherwise, it's not freedom, right? This is the thing that just kind of drives me crazy. Just wanted to.
Oh no, absolutely. No, absolutely. And yeah, another thing is this idea that our democracy is, so unique only to us. No, I mean, there's other countries that are completely democratic that have the same kind of rights and liberties that we do. So for us to, I don't know, hold this one specific instance of only us having this democracy, no, I mean, we're not any different from, insert X country here. So yeah, no, I definitely think no, they're fighting for freedom, whatever that may be. I mean, that's defended, in our Constitution here, with a few exceptions. Looking at you, Alex Jones.
Yeah.
Uh, but
Well, and when I say
that's two this episode. Two shout outs.
But when I say freedom, I mean I don't necessarily, because when I say that, it sounds so so political. Because they say, well, they're fighting for freedom. Well, let's face it. How is it that some Muslim goat herder 6,000 miles away there? He's not. They're defending our Constitution. It's like, I don't really find is the Constitution being attacked by goat herders, 8,000 miles away in Afghanistan. To me, it kind of sounds a little crazy when people talk about that. But when I say freedom, I just wanted to clarify. When I say freedom, I mean that the Fox News folks, they think freedom means the freedom to support the military and vote Republican, and only to do those things. And I'm like, no. If you really believed in the principle of freedom, you would give people the freedom to disagree with you, and even though they may have opinions that you may not agree with, that you're not going to try to impose undue hardship on that person simply because they have a contrarian view from the mainstream.